Let's face it, the AAA industry has just gotten tiring. Microtransactions are everywhere, promises are not being met, and it feels like there is absolutely nothing to look forward to. That's why indie games have been absolutely popping off recently. BattleBit is nothing entirely new at a surface level. It is the Battlefield formula, but without the BS, and it was incredibly successful on its launch. But this video isn't about BattleBit. This video is about even simpler games. Games like Thronefall, a solo player strategy game that 2 developers released just this August. The game offers a variety of different levels for the player to interact with, despite it being very early in its development cycle. You essentially are playing as the ruler of a kingdom, protecting your citizens from the horde that seeks to destroy you at night. In other words, the lore is incredibly surface level, but I am okay with that, as it fits within the minimalistic theme of the game. The amount of options at your disposal, however, are anything but minimal, creating a highly replayable experience. While there are only 3 complete levels at the moment, there are a multitude of weapons, perks, and difficulty modifiers for you to test around and push the highest score possible or complete all the quests to earn all of the achievements the game has to offer so far. This many choices could be a problem though, as it could put new players into decision paralysis and avoid certain builds altogether. The developers counteracted this problem by incorporating an XP system to stagger the upgrades you get, which really helps me get a feel for how a game of Thronefall should go. No matter what build you end up using though, you always have 2 things you have to balance throughout the game: economy versus defense. To build your economy, you have to build structures such as fields and houses to give you more gold each day. However, if they go down during the night, they don't give you any gold for the next day, which prevents you from cheesing to get an early advantage in many cases. To build your defense, there are 3 avenues you can consider building: yourself, your towers and walls, or your troops. Perks that you unlock can make any of these playstyles incredibly strong as well. For example, there are perks like Commander Mode that heavily buff your troops but heavily nerf your damage, and Warrior Mode that does the opposite, nerfing your troops and making you incredibly strong. And every map has its own preferred playstyle that you're gonna have to play around with. Each map offers different quests that force you to use specific weapons and add difficult modifiers that make certain styles of play difficult to pull off, requiring you to build new strategies around the problems presented. Playing strategy games like this though can feel like a task, making the audio and visual design incredibly important to keep the player engaged. Personally, I absolutely love the minimalistic visual design. It is incredibly easy to understand, but it doesn't look like it was rushed and ugly. Every troop has a unique design that is easy to see from a mile away, and the shadows are dynamic. There isn't much more to say about the visuals because they honestly speak for themselves. The sound is really satisfying though. The music can get a bit repetitive at times, but I personally really enjoy how the final wave has an epic soundtrack associated to it that is different from all the other waves. Aside from the soundtrack though, as we listen to this next clip, focus on the sound design and how responsive each input is. What I really like is how the slightest sound bits signal different things to the player. For example, the drum roll means that my character has their ability online again. The chromatic flute sequence means that either a troop or a defense went down. This is really helpful as it is easy to understand, gets the point across quickly, and gives me more information on what is going on in an area that I might not be able to see at that moment. Not to mention that it is just satisfying. A lot of modern day games have so many sound bits and things going on the screen that sometimes it's nice to just have a game that is simple. I find it really funny that I am saying this as an Overwatch player, which is one of the most cluttered games out there, but you get my point. As we get closer to the game's rating, it is important to discuss how this game sets itself apart from others. In terms of mechanics, there is nothing extremely new here. Other RTS tower defense games have done this before, with more content and arguably more progression. Games like Dungeon Defenders are really hard to beat, to be honest. The reality of it is though that these predecessors are made by teams of people, while Thronefall was made out of the passion of 2 individuals. The minimalistic game of Thronefall that they made is a testament of their accomplishment as a minimalistic team, which is what gives this game its charm in my opinion. But at the end of the day, the game doesn't have a lot of content and probably never will, which doesn't mean that the game is bad, but some people will see that as a negative. For $7, I enjoyed my time, but I can't speak for everyone. For the content included alongside the repetitive soundtrack, I give Thronefall a strong 6 to a light 7 out of 10. I know this is a harsh rating, but this rating doesn't mean that the game is bad whatsoever. Astroneer was rated a 7 out of 10, and I played that game for 50 hours to get all of the achievements. I will likely do the same for Thronefall. When your competition is Ultra Kill and the other reviews I plan to do in the future for this channel, I feel as though it makes sense. Thronefall is an excellent game, and I still recommend it. I just see how it might not be for everyone. What do you all think of Thronefall? Do Do you love it, hate it, never even want to play it? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know some games that came out recently that you think are absolutely horrible. I want to do a video on a game that is just bad for once, but I haven't found any in quite some time, oddly enough. Thank you all so much for watching, but until next time, I've got to peace out and Paz out. I'll see you in the next one.